All right, so we're back here in our project and we have this demo scene level. And we'd like to make some changes to this level so it's more appropriate for our shooter game. Now, we could go ahead and start making changes directly to this demo scene level, but what I'd rather do is create a duplicate of this level. That way, if we change anything and we can't get back to how it was in the first place, we can always go back to the demo scene level again. Now, down here in the content folder, I'm going to right-click and create a new folder. So select New Folder, and I'm going to call this folder Maps. And any maps that we make, we can place here in the Maps folder. Now, I'm going to go back to Modular Building Set and take this demo scene and drag it over to the Maps folder. And when I release, I can select Copy here, and a copy of the level will be created. And if I go back to the Maps folder, here's the copy of demo scene. And I'm going to rename this to FPS_level. And now I have a copy called FPS level. And if I double click this, then I'll go to the copy. And now we can make changes to this level. Now we saw that if we hit play, then we're in this weird cinematic mode where we can't actually play the game, and we'd like to change that. So I'm going to hit stop. And if I go to the world outliner here, we see a list of all of the objects that are in the world. And you can see there are quite a lot of them. And there's one that I'd like to remove. I can search for Matinee, and I'll see this Matinee Actor 1. Now, if I hit the F key, then I'll focus in, and right here is where this actor is in the level. And I can go ahead and hit the delete key and remove it. And it says that it's referenced by the level blueprint. Do you really want to delete it? This will break references. And that's because there is something called the level blueprint, and that level blueprint is referencing this actor. And we can see where it's referencing that actor. So before we delete it, let's go ahead and hit no and take a look at our level blueprint. And we can get to it by clicking Blueprints here at the top and selecting Open Level Blueprint. And we'll see the level blueprint. I can right-click and drag around to move myself around. And here I see off of Begin Play, which we'll learn about very shortly, we're calling this play function, passing in the Matinee Actor 1. That's that actor that we just tried to delete. Now, we can highlight these nodes and hit the delete key to remove them from the level blueprint. And I can hit compile and save, and we'll learn about what compiling and saving is later. But now that we've removed these nodes, we can hit the X and hit play, and we'll see that we're no longer following that camera around because we're not calling that play function anymore. Now, I'm going to select the Matinee Actor from the world outliner and delete it because we're no longer using it. So now we're no longer following that camera around when we hit play. We're just starting off here at this seemingly random location. Now, we still see the blinding glare, and if we look around, we see these lens flares and different visual effects, and we're going to remove all of those soon enough. Now, I'd like to show you a couple of things in the world that determine how the world looks and how bright it is and things like that. Now, in the world outliner here, I see that things are organized into various folders, and in the lights folder, we see light source and skylight. And if I click the eye icon right next to these things, I see that the scene changes. And that's because I'm turning off the light source and the skylight. We can't see their effects anymore. We also have this BP sky sphere, which is the sky that we see when we look up. And if we hit the eye icon next to that, we no longer see the clouds and things like that. So we have light source, skylight, and sky sphere. We also have this atmospheric fog. If I turn that off, now it looks completely dark. So turning these things off, we now have a completely dark scene. Now, in the next lecture, we're going to be removing these and creating our own so that we can make a custom night sky. So I'm going to go ahead and turn those back on so that we can still see everything. And in the next lecture, we'll get ready to remove those things and create our own custom sky. So I'll see you in the next lecture.